Yes, people, welcome to episode 6 of the Cobra Cast. Today we've got the great entertainer, Curtis Gargano. How you doing, Curtis, my
Yeah,
brother?
good man. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see
It's
you
been a
too,
long
my
time.
man.
God bless,
A
man.
long time, man. What's it been, two and a half years now?
I think the last time I seen you was in December 2022, and can't remember which fight it was, but we know it was one of your last fights. It was your last fight with me together, and that was it. That's when we said our goodbyes, but we
Yeah,
didn't
man.
say goodbye.
Yeah, we didn't officially, did
We've
we,
never
mate?
said goodbye.
And this is the first time that we've met since then, but we didn't even officially say goodbye or went
No.
Pete on. But we can get into that later on. But like I say, a lot of people watching won't know about you, Curtis. So we'll go right back to the beginning, brother. Where you grew up, your mum, your dad. We'll start there, my brother.
Yeah, so I grew up in a place called Middleton. It's the middle of Manchester. That's why it's called Middleton. It's split between like Lancashire and people from Lancashire and Manchester. So, you know, a lot of them talk like you guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Was it
They've
4
got that
miles
solid
north?
build, but then the Manchester people. It's a mixed town. Do you know what I mean? Very, my mum's from an African descent and my dad's from an Italian descent. So yeah,
So
it
they've
was
got.
pretty tough growing up in the 80s.
I can imagine, brother. I can
Yeah,
imagine.
it was.
So your dad, obviously, like a lot of people watching, they won't really know about your dad. So we'll go into it about your dad. He was an absolute legend, Des Gargano.
Thank you.
That's where the Italian comes from.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
of Italian descent.
I think three brothers come over in the 1930s from Italy. But they spread all over England, well, Britain. And my dad's mum, she was a full Irish woman. So yeah, there's Irish in the
So
blood and
there's a
everything, man.
mix
It's
there,
mad.
bro.
But yeah,
There's a
so
mix.
as the Nicky Gargano, he was in the bloodline. Boxing's in the bloodline with the Gargano in the Gargano side.
So who was Nicky Gargano again then, Curtis?
Nicky Gargano, I think he won about flipping 20 ABA titles.
Seriously?
He won a I think it was Olympic bronze medal. He was a top fighter back in the 1930s, 40s.
See, mate, I didn't
He
know
never
that
went
about
pro.
Nicky.
He never went pro.
Never went
We
pro.
never knew him. We never knew him.
Right. But yeah, that's mint. That's beautiful, man. So your dad, he had over 100 fights. He was in the Centurion Club. Is that correct? He had well over 100. Was that 130?
123 fights, my dad.
123.
Yeah. There weren't a lot of journeymen about solid ones who reached Centurion level in the 80s and 90s. My dad, he was a busy fighter. I mean, he boxed Sugar Jibaloo on his first two fights.
Shout
And
out,
Sugar
Sugar.
Jibaloo won a British title.
Yeah,
and my
correct,
dad
yeah.
lost by, sorry, Sugar. And we're on the camera here. Is that camera?
Yeah, it is,
Right,
mate.
sorry,
Look into
Sugar.
the- Yeah.
My dad
Des
won
beat
that
you.
fight.
Yeah, I remember.
1 point.
I remember.
I love you,
saying
Sugar,
that
though.
to him
Sugar's the
before,
boy.
bro. I
Yeah, he
remember
did.
you saying
My
that to him
dad-
before, man. When you
But you
booked
know
it.
what? Let's not get into that. But
Yeah,
the
but
Sugar Man's the main man. But imagine getting matched like that. Because back then it wasn't like, it weren't like how we was rolling. We was going through it, mate.
different times.
Leather
different-
time.
Did he have like over 30 wins? Or something?
30 odd wins,
30
mate.
odd
A lot
wins,
of
mate.
KOs as well. Isn't it? I think he was called Summit Doherty. This kid was an ABA, was a national champion, boxed for his country. He was set onto big things. He was top of the bill. He sold the place out. And my dad caught him and took him out. He never boxed again.
Never
He
boxed
ended
again. Ended his career, mate. That's
And my
something
dad's
else.
jumping on the ropes. He's loving it.
That's what I mean. Anyone who knows, any journeyman out there as well that are watching, know how hard it is to get over 30 wins on the road, mate. That was like as well, different times as well. That was a tough era. That I remember
Yeah, it
people
was.
telling me stories
Scary,
about
different, man.
people having drags of a fag from the spectators in the crowd, and that it was a different environment altogether. Wasn't it?
I remember going to watching box a couple of times. And I remember just going to the shows and the atmosphere was just totally different because back then the fights they didn't have to sell tickets. So if Jack Trickett put a show on at the New Century Hall, Free Trade Hall in Manchester, they'd be on every week, be a fiver in, and they'd all be 50-50 fights. Like he's won 3, he's lost 10, but they're all just old leather guys who are just from the coal mines.
Put
going
together
for
like
it.
old leather
But
boots.
I remember going and it was just dead loud and smoke and it was just different. I remember my dad just hitting the floor. He got chinned. I was crying my eyes out, man. I was only a kid. You know what I mean?
I remember you telling me stories about him like having broken ribs and going to fights with broken ribs and Kieran wincing in
So
pain.
heavy,
And I
used to
remember you
go on
telling me the
about.
stories, but then going out to fight. That's what I'm saying. Different breed,
Yeah,
mate.
they're not
Cut
like
from a
that these
different
days,
cloth,
bro.
mate.
You was like that though. You would have thought we were broken rib. You never moaned about
Mate,
anything.
I tried
you
my
lasted
best,
the old
bro.
school, bro.
Yeah,
you
that
know
means a
that.
lot,
The
that,
promoters,
brother. That
the
means a lot,
promoters
brother.
know that, bro. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
man.
They break a nail now. They don't want to fight.
True, bro. True. We
But
just
that's
went.
just how it is, and it's going to get worse.
Yeah, I can see it.
But
But the
that's just the
landscape's
lifestyle,
changing.
and yeah, it's just the way it is. You know,
100%,
but
bro.
you can deal with that. But yeah, my dad used to be in bed screaming with broken ribs. I remember when he boxed Paul Ingle, won a British European IBF world title.
Yeah, man.
Please, can you? The promoter begging my dad, begging him on the day of the fight. My dad's like, look, I've got a broken rib. And you know, if you get stopped,
You're getting 28 days mandatory.
You know, my dad's like, it's not worth it. You can give me how much you're gonna give me, but I'd rather. I promise you, he's not. He sold the place out. I don't know where it was. And you know, my dad's turned up, promised him they're not gonna body shot him. Bam, first round.
Oh,
they done with
ruthless.
dad.
Ruthless, mate.
Happened a
Ruthless.
few times that.
That's the business, innit? That's
Business,
the
mate.
business, mate. But I remember as well, like, what's your fondest memory of your dad boxing? I remember you telling me about him coming back after he fought, was it?
Yeah, Prince Nazim. Well, I used to always wait at the window for my dad all the time. I used to always wait at the window all the time for my dad, waiting for us, the little lad. And you know, one day he come back. So I had no door on my bedroom, you know, and he was little. And I remember him coming in, and this is the God's honest truth. I remember him coming in and saying, "Curtis, wake up!" Dead excited, and I'm like, "Boss, this kid is going to be a superstar." He was doing flips all over, son, and everything. He's going to be. He used to always go on about Naz, always, because Naz used to go to all the shows with Brendan. Now Brendan Ingle used to do my dad's corner a lot in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. You know, he had a brilliant relationship with Brendan. And Naz used to always come up to me. Dad used to, you know, he'd have school the next day, but he'd be at all the shows because the shows used to be during the week back then. On Wednesdays and stuff like that. They was the main days. Mondays and Wednesdays.
It's mad, that, innit?
Yeah. So as you say, Dad used to say to me, Des, I'm going to box you on my debut. But he never boxed him on the debut. He boxed him on his third fight or something like that. But yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, one day my dad took us up to. My dad won Brendan and all that. I'm like, Dad, you know, this was like I was probably about 16. You know, I was been messing about at school. You know, I'd had about 10 amateurs. I had about 10 amateurs, and you know, but I come back and I was doing well in that, but I was still messing about. And my dad's like, right, we're going up to Brendan Ingle's gym. I've got Brendan on the phone. We've got there. Johnny Nelson's there. Cal Brook. You know, they're all there. Junior Witt. I remember this is the God's honest
some
truth.
names there.
And they've got the circles, haven't they? They all
the circles and the lines.
They're in the circles, mate. Yeah,
proper old school.
And I remember, I didn't know who it was, and then I figured out. That was Cal Brook I was moving with, no body sparring.
Right,
you know,
right.
Yeah. I remember that.
And they were big on the body sparring there, weren't they?
It was just body sparring.
That's what they used to do there, save the old brain cells and that.
I mean,
but that's magic there, mate. 'Cause that, like gyms like that now, they're dying out now, Curtis. You know yourself, they're dying out. Proper old school.
that was my idol. Do you know what I mean? After school, I had all the tapes. What was it? I can't remember what it was called. He had a couple of videotapes out now. I don't remember if you remember him. This was like 96, 97, 98. You know, I used to get back from school and just bang them on every day and then get to the gym. That was me as a kid.
That's as he was getting to his peak as well around that time, weren't it? Like, he was just knocking everybody out, weren't he?
WBO champion.
He started out at bantamweight, didn't he? I'm sure, did he not win a European or a title at a lower weight?
Super bantam, I think it was.
Super bantam it was, weren't it? Then he moved on up.
Well, we met Naz. We're still in the story of Naz, you know. It was 1999. It was my dad just finished his career. He was on the building site. We had no money. 98 it was. And my dad said, you know, I was still in school, and my dad said, right, I'll show you what your dad's about. That's what it was like with Dad. You know, we'll show you what your dad's about.
Yeah.
So Naz was fighting Paul Ingle. That's why it was Granada Studios. Don't remember. That's where Coronation Street was filmed.
Yeah, of course, mate.
So my dad knew Barry Earn. He was very close with Barry Earn, Eddie Earn's dad, Matchroom. Yeah, so. Because Naz was with Barry then, so we've gone up to Granada Studios to the weigh-in, and big entourage as well. Me and my dad just looks like a scruff, man. But dad just always just dressed like a scruff. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking,
keeping it real, bro.
I'm starstruck. You know what I mean? I'm a young kid. I'm like, oh my God, there's Naz. That's what he was to me. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, it would have been to a lot of people.
He's walking over and he's going, yes, Desi, like that, and he's going, when are you going to take me fishing? Is this your son? And he's like, how old are you? And I just remember going, but. He went, go to the hotel, there's tickets there for you and your boy.
Class,
and it was a great show. We had Poison, Junior Jones on there. I don't know if you remember him. He's a
Poison
legend.
Junior Jones. That's old
Poison
school,
Junior
mate.
Jones,
Old
legend.
school,
You know,
mate.
back then that's who it was, wasn't it? It was Eric,
Yeah,
Eric Morales.
Eric Morales,
It was Ferrero. It was,
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It was the golden era, mate, back then, the golden era.
And, you know, we went there and I remember Naz was getting, Thomas Hearns was on that show. Thomas Hearns come back,
Thomas Hearns,
cruiserweight, and
legend.
he won an IBC world title. You know, there was just legends on that show. I mean, we couldn't even afford a burger, mate. You know what I mean? we couldn't. But I remember Naz. It was a brilliant fight. He come out in a Cadillac, and I remember him getting. Paul Ingle was doing him, and everybody who's seen that fight will know he was doing him, and Naz got him in the 11th. Luckily,
yeah,
it was just
man. Remember that fight? Did he come out in a Cadillac, weren't it? That was the one.
There were loads of different Nazis. There was loads of different Nazis
Yeah,
dancing.
man. Yeah, that was the one. Yeah, it was class, but it was always the showman, mate. I think that's what he drew a lot of people to it at that time. Him, you know, like most people, when you ask him who got it in, a lot of British lads off the estate, it was Naz, especially from my year anyway. But yeah, man. Now we're touching that. We're going to your career, my brother.
Yeah.
As the great entertainer. When did your career start? What year did it start, brother? And who did it start with? Who was your
Do you mean
first
as a
coach?
pro?
Yes, mate, as a pro. But no, we'll go back actually because you had an amateur career. You were decent.
Yeah.
I mean, you actually beat some good names, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Didn't you
I did
beat
quite-
Denton Vassell, or did you not get the nod? And you should have done for that there. Did I have a stitch you up on
Right,
that
so
one,
they
bro?
rang me the day before. I'm coming back at 18 years old. After boxing since a kid and all that, 50-50 record. I've come back and I've had something like I'm not joking. I had three stop free. My dad was like that every time. I can't, but I was training at Collier, so most of the time, you know, I was stopping him. I was having wars. I was just going for it. You know what I
In the
mean?
kill mode.
I was on it. I wanted to be champion. You know what I mean? But they rang me, Jimmy Lewis. You know, can you fight Denton tomorrow? No, I've wanted this fight for ages. You know what I mean? Denton's banging them all out. You know what I mean? I'm telling you now, Michael Gomez, Thomas McDonough, Robin Reed, Mike Jennings. I think Mike was there. Andy Final. They're all there on the top table. Matty Hall. You know,
Barnes, was he around at that time?
Barnes. I love
Barnes. I love
is my
watching him,
boy.
Barnesy, mate.
But I love them all. But you know, they come and all that. Me, I did not win a round. They lost by 1 point. Even the middle of the paper said he won that fight. You know what I mean? A little story then, and I don't like saying it, but
I know what you're saying, bro.
So I remember Anthony Farnell giving him. He's not having to win his trophy. He won that fight. But yeah, that's my claim to fame.
Bars, come on, son. Fucking
But yeah,
class.
man, you know, if things was going well, you know, Brian Hughes written a book saying, you know, Curtis, you know, he's a prospect, and you know, but there's other things on his mind, and you know, I didn't fight again till I was nearly 30 then.
But also, you got mentioned in the Godfather of boxing, Brian Hughes. You got mentioned in a book by
Yeah,
Mint,
a couple of pages. I remember pulling it out to Leanne, my baby's mum, saying, "Look, I can fight. Look, shiny you know, because I didn't know. You know what I mean? And then I just knew then, you know, it's the journeyman route for me. But it wasn't even funny. That's where the passion was for me.
That's where it was.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's what I wanted to do. Because I knew
man.
that my dad led, and you know, and what he went through to put food on the table, travelling up and down the country them dark nights, you know, putting food on the table, you know, as you know yourself, the promoters, that you know, it's a
100%.
hard game.
Oh, it's a
it's
tough
not just
game.
about, you know, mentally being a journeyman is a hard thing to do, and all journeymen are different in all their ways.
100%, mate.
Everybody's
100%.
different.
100%, mate. You gotta be mentally tough, ain't you, in that game, mate. Only the strong survive. Psychologically, it has an impact on you, and if you let it creep in,
It's the ones that are doing it for the ego, and it's the ones that are doing it to put the food on the table.
That's
bro.
it,
You
Curtis.
had 10
Yeah,
kids.
man.
How many kids?
Six, mate. But,
Six
man,
babies he had to
six,
fight
man.
for. So I knew when he picked up the phone, he weren't
I
saying
was
no
saying,
to
yeah,
a
every
fight.
time. Do you remember? I didn't even ask who it was. Sky Sports, mate. It was
No,
December.
you never asked me.
I never
I'm
even
just so
asked
glad
her.
we got that Sky Sport. It's like we had to get your career in quick.
Yeah, and it just happened so fast.
He never asked me. You know, and he was like, when's the telly one coming? He waited for so long.
I did, man. I was
you
patient,
did,
bro.
man. You
But
know,
I
it done my
always
head
got
in
my
that
just
night.
desserts, though, bro. You got me the right fights at the right time. And do you know what were good as well, bro? When I look back, when I analyse it all, your matchmaking, you know, you were clever in the fights
Thank
you
you.
took. You were spot on, bro. Trust me, you were spot on. When I look back, analyse it, you were very, very clever. So I could get that many fights in that short space of time and not be
But
in
sometimes,
danger.
bro, no, don't get me wrong. We wasn't.
Oh, we rolled the
You know,
dice
we
once or
wasn't
twice.
some
Yeah,
hard
we rolled
fights,
the dice
but I
once or
knew
twice.
he'd pull it out.
Yeah, man. And we
I used to
always
see,
did.
he's doing this, he's going to get
Yeah,
this
man,
round.
and we
And then
fucking-
you'd even land shots against top kids, mate. That McAllister.
Thank you, brother.
That McAllister was a tough kid. Was it up in Newcastle? I think you boxed him twice. He won an
Oh,
area.
McCallum,
He was
Matt
a tough
McCallum,
kid,
yeah,
mate.
he was tough, mate. Big and strong southpaw as
He
well,
took
mate.
rounds off so many fighters.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
one of the best ones. I mean, we're not talking about your eye, but and I'm still going to say it. One of the best ones was for Shay. This is what you call a proper journeyman. It was we would finish for Christmas. We would finish. Yeah, we was finished for Christmas. It was like, boys, we've worked hard all year. Everyone's been busy. That's it. The phone's gone, and it was like. It was probably 3 or 4 days before Christmas.
It was 4
I
days.
can't get hold of this. What's he called, the kid? Who you boxed? Do you remember?
Joe Laws.
Joe Laws, this kid's
Joe
a top
Laws.
kid. Everyone knows him. He can fight. He can fight. He's a warrior. He sells a hell of a lot of tickets.
Yeah,
you know,
he does.
this was MTK bill back then. You know, back then it was a big bill. A massive bill it was, you know, and this kid was a massive ticket seller, and he had nobody for him. They're trying to get hold of me, and you know, sometimes I wasn't easy to get hold of, and he's definitely not easy to get hold
mate,
of.
I wasn't.
When he's on holiday, and he deserved it. You know, he'd not trained for a week or something. Mate, I literally drove to his house,
He was
got him in the
fucking
car,
hungry, mate, and we were
and
there.
next minute we was in the Hilton Hotel. Next minute he was in the
Sports,
ring,
baby.
and I'm telling you now, this lad probably lost by I think it was 2 points. He could have won that. No disrespect to Joe, but my guy come and give it, and he stood toe to toe straight away. He didn't try and survive. Seamus, he had it with him. He had it right with him.
It was
Great
midnight.
fight.
One
And
of
that
the
kid, sorry.
No, it's all right, brother. One of the
kid's
best
gone on-
experiences of my career, that.
That kid's gone on to flipping box on big box office shows, whatever. Do you know what I
Box
mean?
one of
He's
the
still
McKennas.
going now. He's still going now.
Yeah, he's gone to Misfits, him now, bro. You know,
Good
he's
for
done
him.
that. Yeah,
He's a top kid. His dad's a
cracking.
top guy.
Do you know what they are, mate?
They
They're
deserve
good
it.
people.
They deserve it. You know, some kids might not go in and win a British title or ever, but they are value for money to watch and they're entertaining.
100%, mate. Spot on with Joe Laws, mate. He's an absolute animal. That war with McKenna, it was like a domestic version of Hagler Hearns, weren't it? It was like just 3 rounds, just constant action. But yeah, we'll move on to your career now, bro. The great entertainer, my man. No one did an all-E shuffle like you, bro.
The truffle shuffle.
You were one of the best journeymen around at that. The truffle shuffle, but you were one of the best journeymen around at that time, no doubt, mate, no doubt. But
I just knew how to slow him down. I just knew straight away that I knew the level of fight I was in with, and I was always in above my head because of my size. You know, I wasn't a light heavyweight. And, you know, I had my problems going on at the times. I've always had my addiction problems, so... But I always trained hard. No matter what, I trained hard 3 times a day. You know, I'd do my diet, but I'd mess it up. But, you know, I was professional in what I did. You know, when I got in there, no matter what, I was going the distance, mate. My career only lasted 5-6 years or something like that. But it was a busy one. I was non-stop.
Yeah, man. 52 fights, was it, Curtis?
Yeah.
Brother? 52
it was
pro
52 fights, but you know I was always way above my head because of the weight and my size. You know, I'm only 5'8", and I you know, I had my problems as well. But I trained hard, you know, and you know there was fights where I did give it them back, mate, and you know I didn't get.
You can see that on that clip that we put together.
Yeah,
that video,
a good one.
I was loving that,
Jack
bro.
Cullen got good.
Yeah, man. Do you know what? That was Jack Cullen, the sort of person. That's the sort of level that you boxed over.
Yeah, thank you.
Yard,
Well, with the
Jack Cullen,
with the Jack Cullen fight, the thing is, I boxed an ABA champion, and then I went on holiday to Turkey. And then I come back on a Friday night. I remember my kids was only babies then, and I remember the phone going on a Saturday morning. I remember having my kids in my hand saying, "Can you box this kid? You know, he's won everything as an amateur. He's sold £20,000 or whatever worth of tickets. So Steve Wood show. He's filled the place out. The Bolton, what's it called? The Bolton Whites Arena.
Whites, that's it.
It's like, oh my God, I didn't. You know, I've not sparred, trained, nothing. I wasn't even looking that bad shape on there, to be honest with you, to say I've been on an all-inclusive.
Yeah.
But me, I was there that night without no training, you know, and I had it with him. He won a British title. You know, I had it with him. You know, I got cut in that fight through not sparring, and it put me out for 2 months or something. And I remember Christmas was coming up, and I remember I got busy before that Christmas, man.
Always best
but
time
I
to
turn
get
up,
busy,
man. I never let a promoter down, never. But this is the thing with me, and you know, that attitude needs to drop a bit. You know, you boys did get run out a bit, you know, and it was just more for them. and thinking about us when we could have all been in the gym working on things. But that was who I was then.
Yeah,
you know, we
man.
was all chasing the money.
The money,
we
making
just
happen.
loved it.
Yeah,
you know.
man,
But if
it
it was now, I'd be saying no to these
because you
promoters.
learn from it, don't
I
you,
had
brother?
no boundaries.
That's it.
I had
That's
no boundaries,
it, mate.
and I'm gutted about it.
Do you know what, mate? I'm the same. I learn the hard way. I make the same mistake 5 times. I do it sometimes, like with my client base, and then you get that much going that you can't focus on the ones that need it, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard work, innit? It's hard work, but
It was all just a big flash, wasn't it, man?
Yeah,
was.
but, mate,
I
I
mean,
don't
you used to
regret a
come
thing,
all
what a
the way
career.
to you used to come all the way to Manchester, mate. You know, 3 times. You would have come every day. You did it at one point. You know, you really wanted it. You know, you had that hunger and that spark.
Yeah,
you
man,
did,
I
mate.
loved it,
you
bro.
wanted it.
I loved it,
You
mate. I
wanted
did.
it.
I loved
You was
it,
all-
mate.
That's
every
how I
minute.
knew you'd always be safe in that ring because you wanted it.
Yeah, man.
You wanted
100%.
it,
You used to
brother.
always say
You
that
wanted
to me.
it, man.
You used to always
I
say that to
believed
me. As
in
long
you.
as you did, mate. Always,
I
always.
believed in every fighter. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I knew what you was. I knew. Do you know how many fights you did? You give away, or you know, the ones you give away, or you could have just won.
Yeah,
But you
man.
know,
What was the saying now, mate?
do you know if it was now, you wouldn't make sure you won them fights, bro.
100%. He boxes just
honestly.
hard enough to lose. Do you remember that saying? He
You did
boxes
use that.
just hard enough to
No,
lose.
but sometimes you could have done so much,
Much
better.
more.
I have
so-
to say that.
No, mate, 100%, mate. I'll take honest criticism, mate. I
Pissed
knew
me off
that,
for-
mate. Yeah, man. Sometimes you've been,
I didn't want to
going mad
drive
in
you
that
home.
guy. No, I
I
can
think
tell.
I actually left. I think I left you when you won.
Did you? Oh, no, you did. Yeah,
Let's
that
not
was
go
it.
into
Yeah,
that.
we'll not elaborate, mate. We'll leave that one out. That was Essex,
I was
weren't
still
it?
celebrating the win.
Yeah, man. But, mate, what a memory, bro. What a memory, though, bro. That was class,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was down in
I know.
Purfleet, weren't
Yeah,
it? It
man.
was mint, brother. For right or wrong, mate, I don't regret a thing, me, mate. It was absolutely
I know
class,
it.
mate.
I know.
It was beautiful, mate. That was the first win, weren't it? Fight number 20
It
and
was
that as well.
great. It
But
was
yeah,
great.
man. But yeah, we'll get back to it. Who was your first coach, bro? Who first brought you into the game for pro?
Well, I did it myself. You know,
Did it yourself?
I shouldn't say it really, but it was do it different. And we
Yeah.
we were struggling at home. You know, I had a baby coming. I didn't know what I was gonna do with my life. You know, and I thought it's time, man.
Yeah.
I run Carl Greaves. You know, Carl. You know, nobody was gonna give me the opportunity. Nobody cares about journeyman. Some people want to do it now, but back then nobody wanted to do it. You know yourself.
Yeah.
You know yourself.
Yeah, true, mate, true.
Excuse
you
me.
were the one that
But
opened
and
the
Carl,
door for
Carl,
us,
give me
not
a
rats,
chance,
mate.
man.
Yeah,
love you,
man.
Carl Greaves. I love him.
Oh, shout out to Carl,
You
what
know,
a
that's
guy.
one I really look up to Carl.
Had a left hook from hell, that guy as well, didn't he,
Yeah, I
man?
love that guy. I love him.
Bash.
Yeah, he's a top fighter, and he boxed my dad. You know, and we kept a relationship since. You know, when he turned me pro, man, and he didn't know. I didn't know. I was just blagging him on the phone. I'm going to be a journeyman. I'm going to fight every week. I'll do it.
And
I
then you
didn't have a
ended up-
clue.
Yeah,
I
man. You
didn't
know
have
you'll
a
get
clue.
yourself in for.
You know, but we sold tickets on the first fight, and I got a box. Mad Mitch Mitchell, mate. The guy I turned up and he was huge. I thought, this ain't my weight division. This.
Yeah,
and
don't you?
Mitch was a young lion. He looked about 50, but he was young.
He was, yeah.
And he come at me from that first bell, and we went toe to toe.
And that ended in a draw, that one.
Yeah,
Kirsch.
we went toe
man.
to toe.
Yeah, man.
But listen, it was a draw. He weren't no.
We
one
know what a
point.
draw means, innit, mate? It was the W, bro. 100%. It was
You
the
know
W.
that, you know
so when
that.
did Joe Pennington come into mix?
So I
We
love
gotta
Joe.
give Joe a
Right,
shout,
so
haven't we?
basically, my weight it was mad because I kept getting called in off the board. You know, it was a lot stricter back then.
I believe so.
It was
I
a
remember
lot
you telling me,
stricter
yeah.
back then. You know, it was very scary for me because I had my problems outside the ring as well, and I was scared to death that you were going to find out. With my drinking whatsoever. Even though I could manage my life so much. I was just a warrior, mate. I was an idiot, but a warrior.
Yeah,
Do you know
man,
what I mean? You know what I was like. But after about 15 fights, me and Steve Finesse was together for a bit. He used to come and do my corner, but I always trained hard. I'd turn up at the gym. I was at Chris Aston's gym. I was professional. Even though I didn't have an actual coach, I'd still be at the gym.
Still be at the gym,
Culliers
still
and
picking it up.
Mustern, I'd be there. And Chris Aston trained me for a bit. And then, the board saying, look, you're overweight, Kurt. And he was right. I took a few pumbles, you know what I mean? I was getting beat up a few times. Still winning rounds, though.
Yeah,
but I just didn't look the part. You know how it is. You've got to look the part. I didn't look the part.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I just didn't look the part, bro.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
So
There was always strict with me, which made me who I am. It made me who I am. And I respect that. So, when I got with Joe, it was 2016. Mate, when I got with Joe, the weight come off. I think I had about 15 fights the year before. you know, busy. And then with Joe, I think we done about 18, 19 or 20. It might have been 22. Can't remember. I had
That
a
is
year.
busy, that.
But that year was the year what done me. You know, the rock and roll years, I call it.
Rock
you know,
and roll years.
the weight making, the partying, the money. You know, the pubs.
The
you
lures
know,
there, innit,
but
mate?
you know the burgers. You know,
we love the food, don't we, bro?
You know, do you know what I mean?
Food, bro.
You know, the kids, the stress. You know, and then Joe just said, "Look, because my elbows was gone. You know, I couldn't take the shot in the elbows no more."
So what's happened
and I
to
still
me
feel
now,
it
brother?
now. Still feel it now.
Man.
You know, when I'm on the pads, I can feel me in my elbows.
Same, brother.
So,
Same.
you know, but we had a great. You know, I can't. Even though I never won a fight on paper, that was God written. Because I represent the journeyman, bro. So they look at me straight away. He never won a fight, but look at him.
Yeah,
He was winning many rounds.
Yeah,
and he
was
was
2 rounds behind before you started.
And he was in with good
game.
kids. And he, you know, I'm not looking for excuses, but God just, there was fights. Every time I sold the ticket, twice I did, they come at me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
No one ever give me a win or give me anything. You know, I beat kids that won area titles, mate. Lost by 1 point. You know.
Yeah, we've all had them, haven't we, bro? Painful them. I remember I had it down south with Max Lavelle. 58, 57, bro, and I was
you had
gutted.
loads of 58
yeah, and I
one-pointers.
was gutted, bro. And when the referee looked at me and said, if you just threw half a dozen more punches then, I'd give
But
you
the
a
way
win.
you used to throw your shots, like, I couldn't believe the improvement from the start to when you started doing the side on and the footwork and the company, the body shots. You hurt so many fighters to the body. Sorry, bro. We had to tell you.
I caught Rafi a little bit. He was hanging on at the end there, man.
Yeah, he was hanging on.
He blew his load, didn't he, so to speak?
Because I love your dad, we'll let you off.
Oh, mate,
I'm only joking.
people,
We're proud
you
of you doing well now. We're proud of you.
Smashing it, you know, bro. Do you know what I think it was? When you look back then, mate, he was looking, I think he was killing himself. He's gone up a weight category as
he's
well.
so improved. He's a baby then. Now
Yeah,
he's a big man
100%. He's
and
strong,
got
mate. He's getting the KOs as
but
well.
You got to understand this, Niall Brown. You went the distance with him.
Yeah,
He took a lot of people out.
Yeah, he has. Jordan Gargano was one of them,
You disregard yourself.
Yeah, I know what you're saying,
thinking
bro.
you wasn't. You was a top dog journeyman.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
A top dog journeyman, bro.
Thank you.
But you know why we have to fight every week? Because we spend the money the next day.
It burns a hole in my pocket, mate. Trust me,
We're not
bro.
like you ones that save it.
Yeah, we don't save, bro. It was gone, man. Memories over
With a
money,
good job
man.
as well.
Yeah, mate. I'm telling you, it was mint though, weren't it, bro?
Yeah.
What a laugh, man. Do you know what? It's a short career. Someone said that to me before. It's a short
everyone's
career.
all right, you know. You know what's
That's
beautiful
it,
about
bro.
all us boys? Everyone's all good, mate. Steve Jackson was at Scott Williams last night. Everyone talks, and Levi's at another gym now. We're still friends. You know, everyone's friends, man.
Oh, it's a beautiful
and
thing,
everyone's
innit, bro?
doing well. So it's not like it's not ended. It's all still.
That's
still
it,
there.
bro. That's it, man. That's it. Like I say, I'm
It is.
doing
And
big things now with the bare
me and you.
Yeah, man.
We're friends for life.
100%, bro. 100%. You open the
Them
door for me when I
envelopes will
look
come
back,
from
mate.
somewhere.
They'll come from somewhere, bro. They'll come from somewhere, mate. We've all got a week, haven't we, bro?
Yeah, man.
We've all got a week, but, mate, yeah, what a career, mate. Honestly, I love it, bro. I love it. So what's your plans for the future?
Do you know,
I'm
gutted that I'm so gutted because I never got my best out of you. I just wish it would. I just wish I didn't have as many fighters at the time, and I could have. You know what it was, bro? It was a hobby, but then it got to. It was my dream, which is what I'm gonna do now. I can relax with it now. Whereas back then it was a rush, and I was, I had to prove to myself what I could do. But then I had the pressure as well of, you know, making sure you don't get your licenses took off you. You win rounds, you're fit. That's why I trained you so hard, you know, because everyone thought that you guys weren't going to last a minute, you know, but you did, you know, and respect to Les Potts because, you know, he trusted us and believed in us, and we didn't let him down.
Oh, we didn't. He put it after 17 fights?
And
I
he was
think I got
probably all
pulled
on
in, didn't I?
pins, man.
Yeah, we were. I got pulled in. I remember when they pulled us in and they give us like.
Pulled in.
Do you remember after 17 fights and I got and they just basically it was just like. They were saying win more rounds and all that. Yeah, they pulled me in. It was after 17 fights.
He's just ruined our interview, man. We never got pulled in.
But yeah, man. And then
you weren't with me then.
he said to me, you know what he said to me? Les, he said, you've got the ability to, I'll never forget it. He said, you've got the ability to be one of the best journeymen in the modern era. And
when did he watch you when he was next to you and you boxed what was the other lad who I turned in pro?
James Albert.
Yeah.
James
that
Albert,
fight was unreal.
Yeah,
what
man.
an
It was a war,
unbelievable fight.
Yeah,
Unbelievable fight. You fought for us that night. It's not, people don't understand is that you're not just fighting for ourselves, he was fighting for us all.
Yeah, man.
We was all
mate.
together.
It was in the
It was
trenches there, weren't we?
unbelievable, man. It was.
We had
you
Dan
know,
Move in the corner with us as well. That night,
yeah.
didn't we,
Dan
in that?
just messaged me then saying Happy Easter, man. You couldn't even wish me happy birthday, man. Fucking Happy Easter. But you know what, mate? Like you say, the good things in life, what are like that. They go so fast, and you'll never replace them, never ever. But nothing gold lasts forever, mate.
100%, mate. Amen to that, Curtis.
You know, and people knew, people didn't know, but you guys knew I was struggling right through it. But you was babies at the time in the boxing. You know, I brought you into this game.
Yeah.
This was my responsibility. You know.
But mate, you were class. I remember. So my debut, I was like a rabbit in the headlights. I fought Leon Willings. He ended up in with Ben Whittaker, didn't he? Remember?
That was an easy debut,
mate. That was a.
We nearly beat him as well.
Yeah, mate. I did remember the WWE in the corner. Do you remember? Yeah, he didn't let me off the hook for that in the corner. I think he whacked me and it messed me equilibrium up a little bit. But
you know what, bro? The sparring. The thing is, everyone used to want to come to us and for sparring.
Yeah, they did.
That's another thing that I won't be happening. When I've got my fighters, and sparring's brilliant as a journeyman. You would say you don't need to do it, but that's what kept us solid. But it was too much sparring. People coming to the gym and trying to beat on you guys.
Yeah, man.
I don't see why they want to do that.
Yeah,
man,
and
that's something that I won't be having. Good having big names and all that in the gym and all that, but. Come on, man. It was a joke,
benefits.
some of it.
Yeah, some of it benefits.
Some of it was
more.
all right, but
yeah,
you
yeah,
remember
I do, mate. I do.
Like,
trying to kill me.
Looking at me, what's going on here? Listen in the script.
Oh, mate, it was rough. Just trying to take my soul, mate.
I think we're thinking of the same guy.
Yeah, I know exactly.
What was his name?
What was
Him
it
who did that to Whittaker.
Oh, what's he called now?
It was him.
What's he called? I know it's on tip of my tongue, mate.
Ben Whittaker's flipping.
Yeah, he's a big Nigerian fella.
Yeah.
Now?
Say no more.
Yeah, man.
But you took liberties, mate.
Yeah, and I stayed on my feet though, still, mate.
Yeah,
you know, that's one thing I don't ever. No
one ever.
Yeah, no one ever got me. No one ever put me over, mate. No one ever put me over.
Leon Williams never either. That was a jump, mate.
That was a WWE stunt. You didn't let me off the hook with that, mate. But yeah, do you know what? That was my debut. But then, do you know what you were good at, bro? What I loved looking back when you analyse, it's like hindsight, innit? But like everyone has different styles coaching. Like some coaches are like shouting instructions in the corner, like offensive. And I think it's a bit of a waste of time. But what you were good at, mate, was like psychologically, you'd get in their head, you used to shout shit and you'd slow them down, you'd get in their head and you'd have them. So like instead of shouting offense, you taught me how to survive, but you learnt to get in their head, bro, and in the corner you weren't shouting offensive moves and I could see them.
We're not just there to put the water in.
Yeah,
but I'm in the fight as well.
100%, bro. And that's what you were always present, mate, in spirit and in volume, mate. You were always there, bro.
Well, we're thinking about next week. That's
why.
That's
the next mate. 2 weeks down the line. Beautiful, mate. Beautiful. But yeah, honestly, mate, I said this to you. We spoke a few times, haven't we? And voice noted back and forth.
we have spoke a lot.
And I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad we have, bro.
Timing is everything, man.
Yeah, I'm glad we had because it went Pete Tong. Went a bit south, didn't it? I fell out of love with boxing. I think I had one fight in the end under different managers.
You gotta understand this though, bro. You only ever knew me in the game.
Yeah, true.
So you was left in the Sorry, Swain. You was left like in the desert island, mate, with a lot of wolves. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad you went to Dale. I'm glad you did. I love Dale.
Yeah,
you went to the right person. I don't know who else would there have been.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But there was Glenn Banks in that, but yeah, man.
You needed a rest, bro. But,
100%. 100%.
You know,
body was fucked,
we can't say this and that. And this is what I was going to say to you. The way we was going, you couldn't have carried on like that.
No,
you couldn't say because some of the fights was getting a bit. Do you know what I'm saying?
I was taking.
But if we would have had time out and could just slow down a bit, then we could have probably got 100 fights.
Yeah.
But not the way it was going.
No, mate, that was it.
I don't know if anyone else would have lasted another year the way we was all going.
Do you know when I see some guys still going now?
But we was up them flipping hills, man. We trained hard.
Oh, mate, we did.
We had the best gym to train in. We got the best fights. We got the best money. We had the best
100%.
team. We was good. You always on that phone all the time.
Shout out Stubby's gym, mate. You were always on that phone. But Stubby's gym, not a class gym that were, mate. Some of the guys, man.
The phone would never stop ringing. You know, 100. It was 24/7 boxing. You know, 24/7 it was. You know, and I did it for 10 years solid. 10 years solid, but I had addiction problems, you know, and traumas, you know, things what I needed to deal with, you know, and you know, the alcoholism just was, I just wanted to drink because I couldn't handle my own self, not boxing or anything, myself. The shame and guilt I built because I was living another life, I couldn't take it, and the drugs only got stronger, so I could drink more, and it took the pain away, and I knew it had landed. That's why the drugs got stronger, because it took me into another world where I could hide and go on a journey, and I was rather going to make it out with God or not. And with this addiction and recovery, you get to the end where you've had enough, and then you change. And I had very, very a lot of bad behaviours. The way I would speak, the things I'd put into the earth, the way, just my mannerisms. I had a different side of me, and I've killed that person.
Get
now.
what you're saying, bro.
I'm
You know, I
killed
can
that
see
person.
that, bro. So everyone, I
He's
can
dead.
see a difference.
I'm passionate,
in you,
bro. I'm lucky to be alive. A lot of people have died who I've been with in the past 2 years. I have witnessed a different world than what I know. I wouldn't get on a bus.
Heavy that.
I wouldn't go in a hostel or whatever. God humbled me, and whatever. I just want to be the best version of me and get the best I can get out of me and be a good person. And that's all I want to be, because I've been there and I've done
Mate,
it.
you can see. I'm not saying you're going, bro. Mate, I can see
and
it,
you
bro.
see money and having the best journeyman and whatever and all that. It doesn't matter to me. That I've done it.
Yeah,
but,
man.
But I love boxing, and if there's a seat on that table, I'll happily be there, because it's something I can do for life. My dream for me would the last one what's been through my head, what I knew I wanted when I was in my bad dark days, is just to have my own gym and name it after my dad, and have the kids and have young fighters in there, and I can be in there till I'm 80 years old shouting time, and that's it.
That's it, bro. That's
we
it.
want
Joke
one of them
time.
electronic bells, mate. Well,
Old school,
time, the flat nose. I just want to be that guy.
I'm turning into that guy, bro. I'm turning into that guy, honestly, bro.
I feel I can give a lot back to boxing, but I'm not going to go the way it was like that.
Bro, you learn. I say this to my kids. You learn more from your mistakes than you do from your up times, man.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be running mad around the country and everything like that. I'll have journeyman, because that's where it is for me, and I can communicate with the youth of the street. And that's what is more to it than this journeyman thing. There's more to it than meets the eye. The way I'm going to bring it, because if it does happen, I want the best, mate.
Yeah, the infrastructure of the game. You're good. This is what I'm saying. That's your lane, that, and you know it, mate. It's prospect. I seen that, bro. Prospects and ticket sellers wasn't your thing, bro.
No, but I still did it.
You still did it, and you did it good. You brought
Golding,
and you brought Shane Singh back.
I got Shane Singleton back.
Resurrection, mate.
I got Jack Dwyer two wins at home.
How's Jack doing now, mate?
He's not boxed for a long time, but he boxed
for a long time.
Yeah, retired, didn't he? I love Jack. He always messages me. He's a beautiful person. I love everyone in boxing.
That's the thing about boxing.
I miss boxing so much, because a lot of the love. I took myself and isolated into a lonely, dark place, whereas I wasn't who I was. But I never hurt or harmed anyone, but that wasn't me. And then I come out of it, man, and I'm the man I'm always supposed to be now. And I'm building it, I'm learning, I'm getting there, and I'm living healthy, do you know what I mean? Drinking water, I'm having one meal a day. I'm going to get into that shape, I'm going to stay in that shape. And in my 40s, I just want to be the ultimate best person I can be and feel good. Because, I crave feeling good. I crave the high life, the high, as people know. But now it's the natural high, bro.
Yes, bro.
Do you know what I'm saying? I know someone like me who's suffered with pain can help people in life, and that's all I'm here to do with God. And when I got confirmed, baptized off the bishop, he said, you are a servant of God. You are gonna help people now. You are okay now. And I was like, whoa.
Well, come at you like powerful,
man,
bro.
At you like that.
Better give you chills, that, bro.
Oh, we've definitely did.
Better give you chills, bro. I've got a good few friends that are men of God, mate. Like close friends of mine. They went to that ex-pro boxers reunion in Dublin.
Yeah,
bro.
That was great.
It was class, bro. You messaged me now. It was class, mate. I was sat at the table with all British champions and Midlands champions. It were beautiful.
You
mate.
never stop, do you, Shay, man? You always
I don't, mate. I don't. I love it, me, brother. I
don't
love
you get
it,
time
mate.
off? You know what I'm like.
Boxing
but I'm always here
me,
for you,
bro.
man. You
said it down in Plymouth when we were down in Big Mama's having those dumplings. Remember, you looked at me and you said, "Mate, you're so grateful." Do you know what I mean? Remember, you just looked at me.
You're the most
you're
grateful
so grateful,
person
mate.
you respect a professional boxing license. Some people don't understand it, but you was like me. It was like getting a professional boxing license is unreal. It's the hardest. When you come from our people, get them easy now. A bit easier, but back then it was the hardest thing to ever get.
Proud achievement,
and I seen how much it meant to you.
100%, mate.
That's all I ever wanted as a young kid. you know, and you've done it and you've achieved it and you've got great friends in boxing.
100%,
Do you know what I'm
mate.
saying? And I'm rebuilding my relationships with people in boxing. You know, I've got some great friends there. And you know, I hope one day, you know, it's up to God. That one day I'll have a license back.
Amen.
You
Hopefully,
know, the
mate.
managers in the future, if that comes back and that's a long way off, but just to have my trainer and my seconds license back, you know, I've got fighters now.
I'd love to see you back in that corner, bro.
But do you know, for me to get back in that ring will be a very emotional time for me because I never knew if I was ever going to get back in a boxing ring again.
Yeah, man.
You know, but I knew I was inside, but I was dying. You know what I mean? But I'm won. I'm out of there now.
Good man.
I'm out of there. There's no reason because I've changed and been through so much that this person here doesn't need a drink. I don't need a drink.
Good man,
I
good
don't
man.
want a drink, and because I know where it leads.
I'm the same now, Curtis. I
know
understand
where
my
it
triggers
leads,
now,
bro.
bro. That's it.
I know where it
I
leads.
don't remember the Friday and Saturday nights. I remember the Sunday and Monday mornings, mate.
Yeah.
That's it. Now I have that foresight to know and I stay
But the
away.
next one for me is death. The guilt and shame, and there's no reason for me to drink. I've lost everything, lost myself, everything. That's what happens. You lose everything, and then what I've built back in a small amount of time, I don't want to ever lose again.
Yeah,
I don't
that
want to
means
lose
more
just
to
that
you.
what I've got. Do you know what I'm saying?
Man. Yeah.
And just having that love in my
You
mum
can
and
see it
my
in you,
kids,
bro. You can see
and
it.
you know, they don't have to suffer no more
Good
because
man,
I'm not
Curtis.
suffering no more.
Good man, bro.
Do you know what I'm
Good man.
saying?
Good man.
Yeah, man.
Addiction's a serious thing. Like I say, I've had problems with it all the way
Yeah, I
through
know
my
that.
adult life, bro. All the way
It's
through.
just a getaway. It's
It
a
is,
getaway.
man.
But you know, you got to love yourself at the
Even
end
when
of
I'm
the
not
day.
u-
And it's
using
wearing
Class
masks
A's.
and people pleasing. It's an hard thing to do.
Oh, mate, do you
It's
know
hard,
what? And that,
especially this game. You know, it's hard, bro. I know, and you
Like
do.
you said, we're
I'm not
built
saying
for
you
this,
do it,
bro.
but you don't. You know what, Shay? You always are who you are.
thank you,
You
brother.
know,
Thank
I've never
you.
seen you be anyone else.
Anyone different, mate?
Do you know
No,
what I'm
that's
saying?
it.
You just
Ever
are.
since
You'll
it's
say it
look-
how it is, mate.
Yeah, man. Thank you, brother.
And
You're
don't
the
ever
same.
not say it how it is.
You're a straight shooter, bro. I'm
Say
glad
it
we
how
got
it is.
together, bro. And we started
Say
voice
it how
noting,
it
mate.
is.
I was buzzing, bro.
Say it how it is, man. Because
Yeah,
otherwise,
man.
you'll just take it to bed with you and resent people.
And that's it, bro.
And
that
that's
was
why you
happening
drink.
to me, bro. Yeah, that was happening to me at one
But
point,
you can
bro.
do the odd smile and let them have it.
That's it, bro. You know the one, bro. You know the one. The people watching it, mate. Smile and wave. We don't stop at every dog that barks, man. Bosh.
Bosh.
The Bosh Brigade, man. But yeah,
Yeah,
mate.
man.
Honestly, mate, I'm so glad we've linked up again. I'm so glad we've come and done this podcast today, mate. Listen, brother, could be a part 2 and 3 to this.
All day.
There's a journey here, mate. You're on a journey now on a different path. And do you know what? I can just tell, mate. I'm not just saying this. You're glowing, bro.
Thank you
There's
very
something
much.
different in you, bro, and I can tell. Just in every you
No
touched
more
on it
pain.
earlier when you were talking about
You look at-
mannerisms and stuff,
Yeah.
bro. You're just a bit different, man.
Thank
man.
you,
Do you know
thank
what
you.
I'm saying, bro? I can
You,
see
if
it.
you look at you see that video last night. If you look at all the pictures of me, I'm fat, I'm overweight, my skin's bad, I'm depressed, I don't look good in any of my pictures. You look at them pictures in my 30s, mate.
Yeah, man. It
I
was
don't
a
look good. My
rough
belly
paper round.
is out here. I'm bloated. I'm eating a lot of crap.
Yeah, you should have been a middleweight, you shouldn't you?
No, but I
mate?
mean, as a coach, even though I was up here, I was up here, but I wasn't looking after me.
Yeah,
And when you look
yeah.
after you got to love yourself.
That's
No,
it,
but I
and
didn't
everything
because I had
outward
my
works.
problems. You know, I
I
had my
understand
problems.
that.
You know,
You've got to look after yourself inward
I'm
so
just
that
so
everything
glad
else
that, you know,
outward works.
it's so sad what happened, you know, but I've got to live with that and I've drank on that and I've used on it for a long time and I've punished myself enough now.
That's it, bro.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I knew you'd have done that, mate. Anyone who
I
knows
never thought
understands
it again
addiction.
like that. I worked
Neither did
so
I,
hard
bro.
for everything I had,
Neither
and I
did
don't,
I.
and I'm not bothered about that because we all did well. But it was more what happened to you inside, you know, because you got trauma for it and that.
Yeah,
that
but we all have our
That's
cross to
bad,
bear, brother.
but you
And
learn
you
off it.
know, and this is what I love, Curtis, when we've spoken voice notes, we've not just shrugged that shit under the carpet and that you've spoke on it.
Yeah.
Mate. You can tell we've spoken. You can tell you're repenting in your own way, brother. Of
course,
Do you
man.
know, it's not easy, mate. I've done it for myself now. I've been on the other side of the
just glad-
fence
I'm
and
just
started
glad me and you
coaching
are
and
friends,
managing.
Mo.
Oh, 100%, bro.
Yeah.
Much love you to
I
bits,
know,
brother.
you know
that,
no,
mate.
because I want to be there for you.
100%.
In the boxing and the band, whatever you do in life, even if it's family.
Mate, I
Say, yo,
learned so
Kurt,
much
man,
from
do
you,
you know what
brother,
I'm
right
saying?
or wrong. I learned so much from you, bro, and you know I'll be hitting you up, mate, in the future. But when I was on the other side of the fence and I started doing the managing and the coaching, that's when I realised, bro, when I was on the other side and I started doing that, I thought, wow, man, you were way in deeper than me at a different
I
level,
could
bro.
easily,
So I can
yeah.
imagine the mental strain, the pressure. Mate, you cut that phone, mate, it was like another limb, innit?
Yeah,
You know,
but
in this game, it's mad,
I
innit?
love it. That's what I want.
Yeah, you said we are built for it, bro.
That's what I want.
We are built for this,
you know,
bro.
You know, being a manager and a coach is all I ever wanted. It was just my problems behind the boxing, what I needed to sort out, and I couldn't do it all. And the explosion. It says in the book what we do, the AA, Alcohol Anonymous. You will manage your life, and you will drink, do whatever, and you will maintain the business, but then at the end you will lose the lot. Because you will maintain it, but you'll lose. Your life will get unmanageable. You will manage everything for so many years. You'll lose the relationship. Tick. I lost that. You
Yeah,
lose the
yeah.
business. Tick. You lose the house.
Yeah,
Tick. Car, kids. Boom.
yeah,
Boom. And the explosion happens, and then you will learn. Then you will change. Then you will say, "Look, I've had enough. What do I need to do to change?" And then, bam, that in the book, because I was in the wrong places. Since I've got into AA, I'm around professional people.
yeah,
The
yeah.
police, the firemen. They've got businesses. They're just normal everyday people, and they've lost everything and they've come back, and the old timers are learning me now.
Yeah, yeah, they're the best
Because
people, mate. They've lost everything. They took
and
them back from
I
that
listen
bottom.
to them. I listen to them. I never used to, think, what do they know? You know what I mean? But now
Yeah,
I
we think we've been through it
yeah,
all,
yeah.
and
I
we
listen
we
to these
know
old timers, and because one day I'll be the one in that chair
that
giving
position,
back,
mate.
and that's what it is. We
God's
give it back.
chosen for you, mate. I
Yeah,
truly
thank you.
believe it, bro. That's
Yeah.
why you're still here. Otherwise, how
Yeah.
many people don't come back from that place, mate? It's scary,
I go
brother.
to church now. No, they don't. It's a shame. 3 people have killed themselves since September who I've drank with
I mean, that's what I
in
mean.
their
That's
20s. It's sad. It's
that's
sad.
heavy. That I remember one of my mates' dads died in his late 20s through alcoholism, and that, mate. It's heavy. That,
Do you know,
bro.
I was in
That's what I'm
hospital. I didn't know. I would not accept that I was an alcoholic. I wouldn't accept it. I wouldn't accept it, man.
saying. Yeah,
You
like
know,
it
the
don't
thing.
set in. You know
Well,
you've got the problem, then it when it's just like
I'm
we
not going to
don't
get
wanna-
into it, but when I was in hospital, I just thought it was anxiety. But when I end up in hospital with people in the room who was ready to die, and I'm on a drip, the mum's there upset. He's worried about me. I still drunk after that, but I knew this is it. I need something now. I need that. Because when it started, I thought it was only going to be a month. And it just for 2 years it was. It went on for
You
2
plotted
years.
in your head, don't you see? So I used to do stuff like, after 3-4 weeks, I'll just go on a little holiday. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
that's what
mean?
it says in the book.
Do you know what I mean,
Like,
bro?
I'll go and have a drink.
Scary.
I'll have a
What
drink.
is that voice? That's just
I'll have-
subconscious.
Yeah,
That,
I'll
innit?
have a drink tonight, knowing that. Well, you're gonna be on a bender for 4 days. Well, I've got $1,000 on me. I'm gonna spend all that, but I've got to pay my rent next week. But you know
Yeah,
in
know.
your head, you're not gonna pay
Gonna
your
pay
rent.
that rent.
You're gonna spend all your money. It's
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
Mate, my settee
You
was up
ain't
against
having
the
that
door,
one.
mate.
Not
That
saying
landlord
you,
weren't
but
getting in.
for me myself, I'm not gonna have one drink.
Yeah, no, same. We touch on this when we speak. There's no like one drink with a meal and that.
No,
It's I'm going
no,
in,
but I
mate.
don't like alcohol and I don't like drugs.
Same, brother.
Honestly, I don't. And it'd be hard for people to believe that I don't like it. It was just trying to change the way I feel.
Yeah, the substance
And now I
was
don't
used.
have to change the way I feel because I sit with how I feel. I could never sit with myself. And
Respect,
I
brother.
sit with myself and I sit with whatever I'm going through. And it's not as bad. It's only feelings. And I've learned
Accountability.
all this now. I don't need to drink to change the way I feel. It's only a feeling.
100%. That's it, mate.
I will
It's
never
only a
let
feeling.
anybody take. You can take anything away from me, but you will never take myself away from me. Not me or nobody, because all I need is my inner self and me. And this feeling I've got right now, I've never had it.
Yeah,
I
man.
said, but I've been searching for it all my life. I'm at peace,
man,
you know.
Curtis, you can tell,
and,
brother.
and anybody that wants to come and get in the way with it will just get blocked.
Get pushed up. That's
Yeah.
it, mate. That's it. For
My
not
circle's small, bro, and it's
Gotta
staying
be that
small.
way. Something Nick Manners said before. Shout out to Nick Manners. Love that guy.
Yeah,
We stay in
respect
touch,
Nick
me
Manners,
Nick.
man.
And
Yeah,
he said
yeah.
something before. It was like, what was it that he said now? He said, anyone that's struggling, any of these guys like us, journeymen and fighters, ex-fighters that struggle and go through hard times, he said, I encourage them men to remember who they were. Do you know what I mean? And that,
Brilliant.
and get in it beautiful, that,
Yeah.
mate, and get strength from that.
I
Remember
forgot-
who you
I
were and
forgot
what
who
you
I
did.
actually
Yeah, we
was.
do, don't we, from time to time,
People used to
brother?
come up to me and say, "You boxer, man, you dad this and that." I'd be like, didn't want to hear it, man.
Yeah.
I've travelled the northwest right for 2 years in places I didn't know anyone. And I was a soldier. But that's
100%.
that's the guy who boxed everyone, the guy who's your manager, the trainer, the survival Curtis. He doesn't
Yeah,
have to
man.
survive no
No
more.
more.
You see, I look like that guy now, and that's finished now. That life.
That chapter's closed.
Now, the next 20 years now is
something
is
different.
the new me who I'm meant to be.
Yeah,
A
100%.
big man.
That's it. I
And
feel
just
as
an
though.
honest, good person. That's all I want to be.
That's all we can do, develop, evolve as human beings. I feel as though I know I'm at a point in my life, mate, where I can't go back to that now. I can't go back. I'm too far that way. It's not even in my rear view, mate. It's a dot.
You ain't
It's
going
gone.
back there.
Not a chance, mate. But
We don't
it's
have to say on here,
beautiful
but
to
what
see
you've
you.
been through.
It's beautiful.
Everybody's different and everybody goes through different. I hung on to mine. I kept hanging on to my problems because I was too busy with other stuff and I didn't know how to do it. But everything's written and I was always going to go this journey and this was always going to happen. Everything.
100%.
It's bad as sad as it is, but
Sad as it sounds,
I had to die. Other person had to die so I can live because I couldn't carry on like that.
That's why I said that to you, Curtis, in the voice notes, mate. For right or wrong, good or bad, I don't regret a thing, bro. I'm meant to be here now, bro.
My grandkids need to see their granddad. I need to be there for them. Do you know what
Exactly,
I'm saying? And
bro.
not kill myself on drink.
That's it,
Because
bro.
of some past traumas or something I can't handle. But I couldn't. I had to go through pain to change.
Couldn't process it. It's hard,
Yeah,
mate.
I had
It's
to go through
hard.
pain to change.
It's powerful though,
you
bro.
know,
Do you know,
and
I've
I'm
never,
moving on up.
I've never ever heard you speak, bro. Like I said, I've known you for quite a few years now. We haven't seen you
You've
for a
never
few
seen
years,
me
but
like this, that's right.
Never, bro.
No. Well, I don't know how
Never,
you
bro.
see me. I'm just feel like me, so I don't know how you're looking at me.
Different
so
to
I don't
how
see it. Yeah,
different, bro.
Well,
You can
sorry
just,
about that.
mate, no, it's good. It's good.
But-
You're still there. You know what I mean? It's still you. You still got that flamboyant
I'm
way about
me.
you, but there's a certain edge and calm to you.
Yeah,
There's a certain. You're different, bro. You're
Yeah,
glowing
man.
and you're calm. And I could just
But
tell,
check
mate.
this out. Check this out. This is the thing with me. So this is why I've got to love Joe Pennington, and you know,
Shout out
because
Joe
big
Pennington.
respect Joe Pennington. You know, he didn't have to let me back in the gym, but it was the right time. And I love him, and he loves me, and his missus. I love Marie. You know, I'm just in the gym making brews. You know,
Yeah, man.
I'm not trying to take over the gym.
Humbled, happy to be back.
Just wanted to be in the gym.
Yeah,
It got to
man,
the point
love and
where
respect.
it's, do I love the sport or I hate it? I'll do it for free.
Yeah,
I said
man.
to you, I do it for free,
You did.
man.
I remember you said that weeks ago, mate, and you said you were just happy to be in that position. Grateful.
I'm so calm in there.
Brings me back to that word, grateful,
and,
mate.
he's left me in the gym. He's gone on holiday. He goes away this week, and he's, I've got people ringing me out for sparring, and I'm like, I feel so grateful to
Yeah,
to
man,
let me
blessed.
just to let me
You've
do
earned that, bro.
where I've been. You know what I'm saying?
True,
to
man.
have that responsibility and trust, and no evil trust me. I love that.
Come on, though, because you went into the well, you earned him his dough as well, didn't you? You and Joe,
Pardon?
you had a good relationship, you and Joe Pennington, didn't you, man?
Yeah,
But
and I'm so glad that
worked
the
hard
fighters
for
are
him.
there, Steve Jackson there.
You
know,
earned that respect from him, bro, on that right.
Yeah.
You've earned that respect,
no,
bro.
I respect that. And whatever I've done in the past is in the past. It's what I'm got. It's all about my future now. I don't know where it's gonna go. I just want to be back in boxing.
That's
man.
what I was going to end it on, brother, your future, mate. So you're saying you want to be back in boxing. I'd love to see. I think just a nice 4 or 5, a small stable of journeyman,
Yeah.
mate. Quality journeyman.
And kids.
Yeah,
One
man,
day.
100%, bro, and bring up and nurture. Because I
AVAs,
think, honestly,
amateurs.
Curtis, I think your lane is the journeyman, the road warrior, the away
It is.
corner.
Oh, it
that
is.
You could see it, mate. Like I say, certain people,
You know that.
coaches, were not quite
Yeah.
weren't adequate in
Thank
that
you.
corner. You were spot on, bro.
Yeah.
You were
You know what?
fucking brilliant. You got me through some fucking rough
We know,
nights,
well,
mate,
that's
on
what I'm
that
saying.
road.
We know how to block them shots, and we know how to turn up. We know how to slow a fighter down. We know
was
how
the
to
key.
slow them down and cut them
That
down.
Willie Warburton.
Do you know what it is with some of these fighters, with some of these coaches? Yeah, I see them fighting for titles, but when they get hit, they don't know what to do.
What to do, yeah.
They don't even
fall
know how
pieces.
to hold.
Yeah, man, I didn't at first, did I, bro? You know, I was like, okay.
You can't block a body
Leo,
shot.
Yeah, they
Kids can't
yeah.
block a body shot.
They can't, yeah,
You see
yeah.
these good fighters now. The defenses are so bad.
True,
defense
but I
is
know
the
what you're
first
saying.
thing
It's
you should get.
changing, innit,
But
bro,
some
now.
coaches just don't understand that.
Don't
That's
understand
it.
the
It's
game,
a
man.
dangerous game, man.
Yeah.
But we fight. We're living in the dangerous part of it. These all just want to kill.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Mate,
But
it's a fucking rough game, and it's many lambs that slaughter
But
out there.
like you
gotta-
say, with you, we could have got that 100, but it wasn't written. I should have had 5 centurions, mate.
Yeah, I don't even kick myself
I
that
should have
much,
had
you know.
5 centurions, mate.
100%.
And I didn't get one.
And I'd have been the quickest to 100. Bang!
Yeah, easy, bro.
100%, mate.
Easy.
No doubt. I love them 6-rounders,
But
mate.
that don't matter because it's all just egotistic, innit?
Just
Why
a
do
number
I
and just ego.
want to get the...
Thank you,
I don't
bro.
care.
Now, do you remember before, mate, when Lee Connolly was saying that the violent vegan, when he was saying about he's stopping at 99, and me and you were like, do you remember?
Yeah.
I was going, what? Why would you stop
Yeah,
at 99? But
yeah.
then now, when you look back, you go, yeah, no, he was like, nah, it's a number. I don't need that to encapsulate me.
Yeah,
Then I
respect to Lee.
that.
Respect Lee Connolly.
Yeah, man, 100%, bro. Now it's mad in it, answer. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You're always learning, developing,
Yeah.
and growing, man.
Yeah, of
But you know
course.
something, Chris? It's been an honour to
Well,
have you on
this
this
is what
podcast,
I'm saying.
my
It's not
brother.
like... It's like... my path is my path. Your path is your path. Like, I don't know what my future holds, but because I'm doing the right thing, and I'm with God, and you know I'm an honest person, I can only be all right from now on, bro. And in
100%, bro.
boxing, I'll be
Amen.
okay in boxing. You know?
100%, bro.
And even with God and family, I'm staying there, and that's it. I'll be safe now. I know I'm safe, whereas I was scared because I had my problems, mate.
Yeah.
Around on people and that, you know.
But at least you've laid that out in the open, bro. And it's been, like I say, it's been mint to have you on, bro. Absolutely class. And I'm glad we got together. And I just wanted to, like, you know what? It was just yesterday. I thought I'm throwing it on it, man. Just get it done. Let's thrash it out. But I thought there'll be a part 2.
And that
mate.
was just the catch up, me and him. That.
Yeah, do you know what? We literally no bullshit.
We'll do that the other bit off camera.
We literally used to call me Mr. Podcast, but we literally met up 5 minutes before, not even that, before we come on camera, did we not, mate? So
give a shout out
this.
to Jake as well, is it Jake?
Jack.
Man, his prospect here, big fight coming up, big news coming.
Big fight.
Top
We can't
kid,
disclose the name, but it's a big one. But
We're gonna do then.
yeah, I can tell we could edit though. We could edit. I was
Loves
waiting
grassing
for it.
himself up.
Sweet grassing.
Jake bit as well.
But yeah, shout out to Jack Dugdale.
Yeah,
But
man, shout out, brother.
Shout out to all the lads. We're signing big contracts this year. We're doing big
with
things.
the main man here, man.
Basement Management Limited, Celtic Cobra.
You know the one. Let's go.
That is episode 6 of the Cobra Cast. Over and out. What a pleasure and an honour and a privilege,
Thank
mate.
you, brother. Good to see you. God bless,
Much
man.
love you, man.
Yeah,
God
man.
bless, brother. Signing out.